Alright, so if you're an American traveling to Europe or thinking about it, this video might just save you from sore feet, awkward stairs, and dragging a suitcase up 6 flights of stairs with no elevator. And if you're asking yourself, how does she even know this? Well, I've lived in Europe, both in Prague for a year and currently in London for over 2.5 years now, traveled all over the world to over 55 countries, and in my early travel days, I made every classic American packing mistake you can imagine. And while none of these are technically wrong, they will absolutely make your trip harder, heavier, and louder than it needs to be. This isn't about shaming Americans by any means, because obviously I am one. It's just about helping you blend in a little bit better, pack smarter, and enjoy Europe the way Europeans actually live it. So here are 10 things Americans should never bring to Europe, or at least seriously reconsider bringing, and the last one is something that gets almost everyone. First is too many shoes. Americans drastically underestimate how much walking happens in Europe, and I don't mean like steps on your Apple Watch, I mean miles every single day on uneven cobblestone streets, hills, stairs, public transport connections that require even more walking than you planned for. The mistake most Americans make is packing shoes for outfits instead of reality. Sneakers for sightseeing, boots just in case, dress shoes for dinners, sandals for warm days, flip-flops for the hotel, gym shoes just in case you work out, and suddenly you've packed half your closet alone in shoes. But one solid walking shoe and one slightly nicer option is usually more than enough. Extra shoes don't just take up space, they also add weight, make your suitcase harder to manage, and slow you down every time you move accommodations. And trust me, lugging a heavy bag full of shoes up narrow staircases and old buildings will humble you really fast. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but basically the rule of thumb is if a shoe can't handle walking, standing, and stairs, it doesn't belong in your suitcase. Next is overly fancy jewelry. This one surprises a lot of Americans because in the US, dressing up often means adding more, like more jewelry, more sparkle, more statement pieces, but in Europe, it's usually the opposite. Flashy jewelry instantly signals tourists. Big diamonds, expensive watches, layered gold chains, and loud accessories don't just stand out, they can actually make you a target, especially in larger cities that are known for pickpocketing. Europeans tend to wear jewelry in much more subtle ways. Simple studs, a thin necklace, maybe a watch, but nothing that screams wealth or draws unnecessary attention to them. The goal is understated, not flashy. There's also a practical side when you're walking all day, hopping on public transport, squeezing into cafes, and navigating crowded areas. The last thing you want to worry about is losing or damaging something that's really expensive. Many Americans bring jewelry just in case they go somewhere fancy, only to never really wear it because it doesn't match the vibe or kind of feels uncomfortable when you're traveling around. So if you'd be devastated to lose it, just leave it at home. The next one I briefly mentioned in the first point, but let's dive into it more. Huge overpacked suitcases. If you've never traveled through Europe before, you probably imagine rolling your suitcase everywhere like you do in US airports and hotels, but that fantasy ends quickly. European cities were not built for giant suitcases. Think narrow staircases, cobblestone streets, uneven sidewalks, tiny elevators or no elevator at all, and train stations where you have to lift your bag on and off the train yourself. Dragging a massive suitcase through Europe is exhausting, it's inconvenient, and honestly unnecessary. Most Americans overpack because they're afraid of not having enough options, but end up wearing the same outfits anyway. Europe rewards light packing. Smaller bags means faster movement, easier train travel, and less stress changing accommodations. It also gives you flexibility, walking a few extra blocks, hopping on public transport, or storing luggage without hassle. Many Europeans travel for weeks or a week with just carry-on size bags. They rewear clothes, mix outfits, do laundry if needed, and this actually saves you money if you plan on taking any flights within Europe too on your trip, because all of the budget airlines in Europe, Ryanair, EasyJet, Wizz Air, they only include a personal item. So even paying for a carry-on suitcase or a carry-on backpack, and then of course a chucked large suitcase, is gonna cost you a lot. A lot of times it's actually more expensive than the actual flight itself. So be as minimal as possible. If you can't lift your suitcase comfortably by yourself upstairs, it's too big. Europe will teach you that lesson very quickly. If you want to check out the best personal item sized backpack that fits the European budget airline dimensions for only $30, check out this video and get packing tips too, so you can kind of make the most of that small space. Now let's talk about baseball hats, especially loud ones. Let me be clear, baseball hats aren't illegal in Europe, but they are one of the fastest ways to be clocked as an American, especially when they're bright, logo heavy, or worn everywhere. In the US, baseball hats are everyday wear. Errands, travel, restaurants, sightseeing, it's totally normal. In Europe, hats tend to be more intentional. People wear them for sun, for style, for specific occasions, not as a default accessory. A loud sports logo, an American team, or a bold slogan immediately says tourist. And again, that's not necessarily bad, but if your goal is to blend in, this definitely works against you. And like I mentioned in the jewelry point, once you're labeled as a tourist, especially an American tourist, it does make you an easy target for pickpocketers. You'll also notice that many Europeans dress slightly more put together on a day-to-day basis. So a baseball hat, especially if it's also paired with athletic wear, can look a little bit out of place in cafes, shops, or just city centers in general. So if you love hats, opt for something neutral, a simple cap, no logo, muted colors, or just skip it entirely if you can. You'll blend in more, you'll feel less out of place, and you'll probably get fewer stares. This one's kind of along the same lines, but loud tourist graphic tees. Graphic tees are another dead giveaway of being a tourist. Shirts with city names, flags, slogans, or novelty phrases might feel fun, but they stand out immediately in Europe. Europeans tend to wear simpler, more neutral clothing, solid colors, clean lines, and pieces that can be worn in multiple ways. Graphic tees feel very casual and very American tourist. There's also the photo problem, in my opinion. A shirt that might look cute or feel cute might seem super dated, cheesy, or distracting when you're looking back on travel photos 10, 20 years from now. Lots of Americans pack graphic tees thinking they're easy outfits, but then they feel underdressed when they're sitting at cafes, visiting museums, or going out in the evening. Neutral tops like plain tees, knits, or button-ups work better for blending in and can be styled in multiple ways. They also age better in photos, in my opinion, and they don't scream, "I bought this for a vacation." So if your shirt announces where you're from, chances are everyone already knows. This next one I kind of mentioned in the baseball hat section, but let's expand on it a little bit more. Athleisure as everyday wear. This might be the biggest cultural difference of all. In the US, athleisure is basically a lifestyle. Leggings, joggers, hoodies, and sneakers are worn everywhere, and no one thinks twice. It's totally normal. But in Europe, gym clothes are only for the gym. Wearing full workout outfits for brunch, sightseeing, shopping, or cafes can feel out of place in many European cities. It's not about being fancy, it's just about context. Like, Europeans tend to separate exercise clothes from going out clothes, even if going out clothes are still kind of casual, but you'll see jeans, trousers, sweaters, and structured jackets far more often than you're going to see leggings and hoodies. So again, you don't necessarily need to dress up, but just swapping your leggings out for comfortable pants or joggers that maybe look a bit more polished, it'll make a huge difference. You'll feel more confident, you'll blend in better, and you'll still be comfortable walking all day. Next is high heels or unwalkable shoes. If there's one thing Europe will teach you immediately, it's that cute but uncomfortable shoes are absolutely not worth it. Cobblestones, hills, stairs, uneven sidewalks, and long walking days will absolutely destroy your feet. Usually within the first few hours, high heels might look great in photos, but they are so impractical in European cities. Many streets are hundreds of years old and never designed for modern footwear. Even flats that don't have proper support can quickly become a problem when you're walking miles and miles a day and you're constantly on the verge of like rolling your ankle with every other step with these uneven cobblestones. Americans usually pack shoes thinking about dinner reservations or nights out, but what they forget is that in Europe, going out usually still involves walking there. Taxis aren't always easy, Ubers aren't always everywhere, and even public transport usually requires, you guessed it, more walking. So you'll see Europeans in stylish shoes that are still functional. Chunky soles, good grip, and comfort matter way more than fashion, and honestly, nothing ruins a trip faster than blisters, sore ankles, or having to cut your day short because your feet just hurt too much. If you can't comfortably walk several miles in them, leave them at home. The next one is a big one, especially for Americans who are used to carrying everything with them. Oversized tote bags, giant purses, or large bulky backpacks. These might feel practical, but in Europe, they quickly become inconvenient and sometimes risky. European public transport can be crowded. Think narrow train aisles, packed metros, small cafes, and tight walking spaces. A huge bag constantly bumping into people feels awkward really fast, and you'll find yourself apologizing a lot. There's also the safety factor. Large open bags make you an easy target for pickpocketing, especially especially in busy tourist areas. Many European travelers opt for smaller, secure crossbody bags that stay close to your body and zip fully shut. And for backpacks, while they're great for actual travel days or like day trips outside of the city, maybe to more nature sites, they're often overkill for daily exploring within the city center. Big backpacks can feel bulky, they can get in the way, make you hyper aware of your surroundings and your crowds. And I always recommend just a medium-sized crossbody bag that fully zips so you can just keep it in front of you, feel secure, and you still have enough room for everything. Phone, wallet, sunglasses, maybe even a small water bottle without weighing you down or screaming tourist. Now let's talk about big reusable water bottles. In the States, we're obsessed with hydration and we love our big water bottles, Stanley cups, Owala bottles, hydro flasks. They're basically lifestyle accessories at this point, but Europe is not built for carrying around massive water bottles all day. Many European cities don't have easily accessible refill stations like you're used to. Water fountains aren't everywhere, and refilling a huge bottle often means asking cafes or restaurants, which isn't really ideal. In the States, we're driving everywhere, right? So you just hold on to your big Owala bottle, you walk to your car, and then you just plop it in the cup holder. Then you're done. You don't really have to think about it anymore. But in Europe, you're walking everywhere, so carrying a large bottle around all day gets so annoying very quick. It takes up bag space, it adds weight, and it feels awkward when you're just walking around shopping and sitting at cafes. The better option is a collapsible or a small lightweight bottle, something you can fold, roll, stash away when it's empty. That way you can still stay hydrated, but it doesn't dominate your bag or your hands. You'll also notice Europeans often hydrate differently. Smaller bottles, sipping at meals, grabbing water as needed, rather than hauling around a 40-ounce bottle everywhere. Hydration is good, of course, especially when you're walking way more than you're used to back home, but being annoyed by your bottle all day isn't. This last one isn't something you pack, but it is something that you bring with you, your loud American voice. Americans are known for being loud in public. We talk loudly at restaurants, on public transport, in cafes, and even in quiet spaces without realizing it. In Europe, this stands out immediately. Many European cultures value quieter, more contained public behavior. Conversations tend to be softer, more subdued, especially indoors or on public transport. When Americans speak at full volume, it can come across as disruptive or even disrespectful, even if that's not the intention. It's not really about silencing yourself or just being uncomfortable, just about being aware of your surroundings and matching the energy of the space that you're in. If you're on a train, lower your voice. In cafes or museums, keep conversations more intimate. Save the louder chats for bars or outdoor settings where it's a little bit more socially acceptable. So bringing your inside voice helps you blend in, shows cultural awareness, and honestly makes interactions smoother with the locals. Europeans will respond more warmly when you respect their social norms. At the end of the day, you can bring whatever you want to Europe. No one's stopping you, but traveling lighter, dressing smarter, and understanding cultural differences will make your trip smoother, more enjoyable, and way less stressful. Europe rewards practicality, subtlety, and comfort with a bit of style mixed in. If you've been to Europe before, comment below what's something you've packed but never used before. And if you're planning a trip soon, tell me where you're going. I would love to hear it. Now let's take a look at my London 3-day itinerary to help inspire your European travel planning.